Back up there. And no action was taken in executive session. Is there any action to be taken now? Right, I hear or see no motions. What else do you have there?
That's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. That's gonna be a problem. I think I'm just gonna make a mention, I'm gonna channel my inner Mr. Hat, because you've got two 2007 Focuses that you're putting on the auction list. One with 50% more miles than the other. We're fighting things. I was one used a lot more than the other, shouldn't they have been approximately evenly, etc. But the big question I have, and this kind of goes to the administration and the budget officer. We got a whole bunch of new vehicles in the grant last year for OFA, right? And I think public health got a couple, right? So they would become quote unquote fleet vehicles, correct? For those departments,
No,
they become carpool.
we would bring them back or sell them according to what they were.
All the escapes that we bought through that grant for Gina, they're not Gina's fleet vehicles now?
They're her fleet.
They are.
I thought you meant the old.
No, the new
Okay.
ones. And the two for public health would be fleet vehicles for them.
Yes, I think they gave up to, they have,
So we got like a dozen new vehicles in the last year and a half.
no, 32.
32 new
ones? Yes.
Okay. So compared to last year when we had surplus and this year we have surplus, seems like we have a huge influx because now Gina doesn't need to use carpool vehicles, right?
But she didn't use carpool.
She didn't use carpool before, only fleet vehicles.
Okay. Ever? She always had fleet vehicles forever?
Yeah,
Well, if she had a broke down vehicle, we would take something. They had mostly Focuses.
Okay.
And they're not all the same routes, so they're not.
It just seems like got a whole bunch of vehicles coming in and very few vehicles going out. I'm just wondering if there's a global look ever at our carpool from a vehicle standpoint. See, have we increased our vehicle carpool 5% in the last 5 years or 40% in the last 5
we've
years?
actually cut it, we were about, I think we were about 200 when Sam looked at it, what, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever. And we're down to 180 something, 83 maybe, and we could even cut further.
That's what I'm wondering. Can we get a global look at
Yeah,
that
I
at some
think
point?
we brought that up at one of the budget meetings, that we need to have a global look, because there's fleets that don't need to be fleets, it's just like a carpool car, and they all get in a fight over the old sheriff cars, when they come back, everybody thinks they need an army truck, or whatever.
Yeah, because there's $776,000 in next year's budget for new vehicles, which is that's a lot of vehicles, right?
In the carpool.
In the carpool.
Yeah, but that's your sheriff's vehicles and your road, or your highway foreman too. It's not your normal.
Right. Usually you get a
Right,
in the
we
budget,
only-
you get a breakdown of
There's
that.
probably only 3 that are, DFS, and I don't know if there's.
You didn't give us a breakdown of the budget.
Yes, we
What it
did.
is.
I gave,
No, it's right here, Brian. I got it. You handed it out last week. No breakdown.
it's only in the, as requested.
Right.
That's why I always say
We
the
gave
copy
it
of
in
the
there.
as
In the old one?
requested budget.
We gave it in the other.
Okay, well, it's not in the new one.
Okay.
That should be the new one.
It's,
I'm disregarding the old one because you changed a whole bunch of numbers.
Right,
And we've only spent $438,000. There's $330,000 left just in this year. That's gotta be 10 new vehicles that we can buy this year that we haven't spent yet, right?
like I would have to get this year's budget.
yeah, I'd have to go back.
I don't think,
Yeah.
we're not gonna leave money on the table at that
Okay.
amount.
I'm just wondering, has anybody taken a global look at the whole carpool situation? How many cars we have? The agent
Let's go
car.
on to comment.
Yeah, well, she asked for the, all of it, and we gave it to her what, a couple weeks ago.
So the treasurer brought it up, in a meeting not too long ago, because we went to the NISDAQ conference. We had learned that some counties that are our size, have about a third of the amount of cars that we have. So I did recently request a list from Deb, and she provided that to me, with the mileage on the cars, so that we can look to see if all of our vehicles are being used. If we really need that many vehicles, if we need that many fleet vehicles, maybe we just need carpool cars. So I just got that information. We haven't looked at it yet to really dissect it. It's a big list, but.
Right,
yeah,
that's
so
why I'm
we're gonna
wondering if we
look
need
into it.
767,000 and next year, we're actually in pretty good shape right now. It's a budget
Oh, we
question,
need
but
Yeah,
We need to look at that.
It's the age and the miles is where the problem is, but yes, we do need to look at it globally, but maybe we can kind of add.
Because you're taking 200 grand out of general fund additional this year to go to carpool.
But,
So do we need to do that if that's the?
well, what we were trying to do was pay the people that work in carpool, we were trying to only use the money in the rate, but pay for fuel and, cars and the actual people we pay. We were trying to augment from the general fund. We're
Yeah.
trying to, it's the whole global picture. We're trying to get a better look at it.
Al
So
had,
you're on the right track. That's what we're trying to get.
Al had a comment, and Dana has a comment, if we can get it.
Well, I can read what he chatted.
Two things, one, Supervisor Hicks, David,
Free chat.
Yeah.
they've got $349,000 encumbered in this year's budget that you don't see. So they've only got 11,000 left in the 23 budget.
Oh, it's been encumbered.
It's been
It hasn't been
encumbered.
spent yet.
So they've ordered something that hasn't been delivered here.
Well, Melissa, do you have that information? Because that's critical. If you look at the whole global picture, if there's 10 cars that are encumbered that are coming in, that should be part of that picture too.
And a different question that Mike heard when you were talking was, we bought 32 cars, we haven't seen 32 drop out.
That's where I started this whole thing.
That's what my brain process
Well,
was.
some of them dropped out.
You haven't
before.
seen 32 drop out? Cause we have,
Yeah,
we
some of
bring
them-
like 5 to almost every meeting.
No, you don't.
And some of them
Every
dropped.
I'll get you the list of what we dropped
During
out.
COVID, we went out and looked at vehicles that were rusted right out, and we just had to sell them. So we weren't even, we were selling them ahead of replacement cars coming in. So we actually.
Don't tell me about COVID, Brian. That was 2 years ago. I want
No.
right now. I want to put
No, so
snapshot
we got-
right now.
Right, so some of those cars left before the replacements got here. So they don't leave necessarily at the same time. If they were costing us money, then
wonder whether you even need it.
that was the good guy.
So it wasn't an accusation, it was a question.
Yeah,
If we bought 32, did 32 come out? That was a question, not a statement.
and like I said, 16 might have came out before the 32 came in, so maybe only.
But they might not have. I'm just saying, we need the data and the information. I'd
Well, our
like to
number
have it.
hasn't increased, so I'm going by the number total that's increased.
I'd like to see that on a piece of paper someplace,
Okay.
exactly the situation.
No,
I got a comment from Dana,
And I'd like the 767 broke down if I could get it.
you guys want to read that?
This sell excess for revenue. We have too many cars as evidenced by the mileage when we dispose of them.
Good point.
Can you hear me?
they're costing us to keep them. If over 100,000 miles, they're costing us more than replacement, they're harder to replace. So I don't know if you have a mileage number that you wanna keep them till, or a dollar that it costs them to keep them till. I guess that would be the question. But if you're just spending it in parts and labor to keep them on the road.
But Ryan, you're saying if, maybe, we don't know. That's conjecture on your point.
No,
I could,
that's-
I could be on the other side of the issue and I don't know either.
Well, and that's why
Do
I'm
we
asking the
have
question.
data? That's what I'm asking. We have
And that's
the
why I'm
data.
asking the
Don't
question.
conjecture, we
When
have
they
data.
start costing us more.
You don't know that.
That's
Yes.
the way they've always run carpools.
You got a 2007 here with 70,000 miles on it, that means it's been using about 5,000 miles a year. If we hadn't had that car, could we have absorbed that 5,000 and the other 180 cars that we have? If
Or the
answer is
other
yes,
thing,
then let's
Matt,
look
could
at
we have
this.
rotated that car where it got used more?
Yeah.
You know, that's, and it was, I think it's one of the ones that was sitting in a spot where it wasn't moving a lot.
We have-
Was water collecting in the gas tank?
Yes,
We had a few of them. And some of them rotted out.
so we
not
will,
being driven, yeah.
so Melissa, in all her free time, will compile a data list for us here on this. And this is good because carpool has been something we've been trying to sort out here for a year and a half, so.
It's been going a long time since, we just never made it.
longer.
Well, I mean, we.
Kevin was here.
Great, great. Okay,
Choked up.
Dana's all choked up over it. Does anybody else have anything more for Deb? None?
Ron? Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate that.
Yep, you've done well.
Thank you, guys. Happy Halloween.
Why, I don't meet with that later.
Enjoy your
Yes.
holiday.
After.
Oh,
You should run.
good morning, Kevin. They're all warmed up.
All right, perfect, and actually I do have something about a.
Everybody saw
They're
that
gonna
one
ask
of
you
yours,
why.
but fired them up on the other one.
I mean, I know it's number 5, but I couldn't start there. I actually was talking to Deb. I want to remove that from the agenda. This is before I heard all that conversation. We've had some internal movement with positions, you know, our vehicle structure and our road crew, our collections crew, that's where this vehicle is being pulled from. Each vehicle has a specific piece of equipment that it's kind of designed for, whether it's pulling it or lifting it or cleaning it or vacuuming it. So we just weren't really using that one. Part of my number 4 staffing update is we just actually offered a job to a supervisor for our collections crew. So I like his input on this as well as just assessing it before we surplus that vehicle.
So you're not surplus.
I'm not surplusing it today. We might revisit that, but I want that pulled for now.
Right?
While you're on that subject,
Yeah.
what is your number of vehicles? How many do you have?
It's between, we have plant, compost, and collection all together. Somewhere around 10, 9 or 10 total.
Good, in the next meeting, could you have a,
Sure. Yeah, we have that as to bring it.
that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, you want to go back to number 1?
Yeah, the number 1, I'll try to keep things quick. Irving tissue update, wanted to let everyone know what was going on there. They finally started the project and we got through all the approvals. They met our conditions. A couple of those conditions being they paid for all of our legal and engineering review, so this project's not costing the district. But they have started as of last week on the line relocation. They're digging and putting in a new line. Number 2, the HF1A RFQ award recommendation. This RFQ we opened in September. This is for the Hudson Falls stormwater separation project. It's a $5.5 million project. We had a engineering firm do the preliminary engineering report on that. We applied for some funding sources. We reviewed the RFQ submissions internally. A couple of the commissioners reviewed them. The commissioners are recommending we award to KSPE Engineering. These scores were based on 6 or 7 different criteria, those being comprehension of the project, experience, professional qualifications, scheduling plan, staffing plan, references, fee. That was all weighted accordingly, and the recommendation of award is for KSPE.
Your motion? And a second, Darrell. Discussion. All in favor of accepting the recommendation, aye.
Aye.
And this, you recommend this too also?
Yes.
You know,
Similar topic, our capital improvement plan. This was an RFP, not RFQ. The difference is this is a request for proposals compared to where RFQ is request for qualifications. The capital improvement plan this was set in place the beginning of this year. We have a $30,000 grant for that. It's a $100,000 project, all done by an engineering firm. There's a construction aspect to this. It's a form of asset management to come up with a capital improvement plan that'll recommend 5-year improvements, 10-year improvements, 25-year improvements, and kind of an idea of looking at everything we have and the future to go along with that. So the update is we're scoring that internally right now, similar to where we were a month ago with RFQ, and I'm hoping our next month meeting, I'll be recommending an award, similar to that I just did. And I thought it would be good to have a staffing update, because we've had a lot of staffing movement internally, which kind of led to the number 5, the vehicle surplus movement that. We filled the majority of our open positions, including the pump station supervisor, which if you remember, we just increased the salary and attempt to get applications in, and that happened. We got a couple applications. We did interviews and we had some great candidates and we offered and we have an accepted applicant. So they're supposed to start next week, which is great news. We've been a year without that vital position, so happy to have that. And what I have.
Do you have enough to pay them through the end of the year? Because I know at one point
Yes,
you were only budgeted for positions that you were already paying on and not.
no, we did, we budgeted all the positions, even the vacancies, and this position's been vacant for 10 months out of the year, so there's money in there, and it's also, the increase is in next year's budget, so. Short and sweet.
Anything else, Kevin?
Thank you.
Questions? All right. Anything else during the committee?
Hey, Kevin, do you know off the top of your head how many employees you have down there? Total?
16,
16, and is all the
plus or
vacancies?
minus one or two.
Plus or minus one or two. Whether you counted that day or not? Counted that.
Well, I don't know if that includes what guys starting next week and a guy we just hired last week, but
And that fills all the positions at 16, or is
there'll be 2 vacancies.
so a total of 18 is what you have in your staffing pattern?
I would love to say yeah, but it's either 18 and 19 or,
It's fine.
19 full-time and 3 part-time.
okay.
And you have all full-time, or you have some of them part-time out of it?
There's 2 part-time positions. We call them summer interns. The idea for them would be to work May through September and work on specifically our GIS side of our operations, which is geographical information systems. It's mapping our sewer lines and manholes and bringing the 50-year-old maps into the modern age. So we're gonna probably in early spring look for ACC or other colleges in the area to try to get some interns in that are computer friendly and want to work in the environmental field.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else in the committee? Yeah.